Hear the devil calling. Hear the devil calling. Well, I hear the devil calling. Gotta pay him what he's due. I can't stop the dogs of war. I can't stop the dogs of war.
Hello everyone, this is Jonah the Orange, and today I'm playing War Dogs. I was going to say War Dogs on Boudica, but I'm playing War Dogs on Arminius. And you may be thinking, why the fuck would you do that, mate? You could play War Dogs on the Boudica, but now you're stuck with that dude, and all he does is run fast. Well, yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted to run fast. Of course, you still have the Frenzy ability and Infiltrate, but I'm not sure if I ever use Frenzy. Not because I don't think it would be useful, just because I'm a bit of a dumb fuck and I forget to use it. That's something we can find out together. Do I use Frenzy or not? I don't remember popping that shit. And maybe I should. Oh, there's a Frenzy right there. Good. So, I do use the ability. It's really good. I'm not sure how useful it is. I never pay attention to how much more DPS you're doing. Let me just say it this way. It's no bloody vengeance, I'll tell you that. If you are going to play Arminius War Dogs, you're doing it for the run speed from Infiltrate and Ghost Walk. What's it called? Momentum. And you can tell this is going to be a really good War Dog guide. So at the moment, I am chasing that cav away. I don't want them to get onto our ranged units, especially since there is archers on the other team. I tried my hardest, did not work out. And just on a side note, when I do get to higher tiers, I definitely will go Boudica over Arminius because her buff does add 10% to your speed at the higher tiers. But until then, I'm liking Arminius. I like both of them, but I just like a gimp mask more than a big booty. But that's just my preference. You may have noticed I leave my War Dog units all over the place. And that's not for strategic reasons, I just forget. This is the shittest guide. But on a serious note, I have been doing pretty well with them. I played them for 2 days. Pretty hardcore, I've been going at them damn hard. And it was definitely a rough start, and then it's picked up a bunch now. You can all check it out on my Twitch channel if you want to sit there for fucking 10 hours. And that's my tip of the day. If you want to get good at War Dogs, play them for 10 hours straight. And you get pretty good by the end of it. And by the way, you notice how my War Dogs ran past their pikes? That's because I positioned them so my War Dogs are closer to the archers. And once they're attached, they will chase those ranged units anyway. Also, the reason I don't want to attack the pikes is because they are Leo ones. And if you guys don't know this, I play Leo a lot. Well, a decent amount. And I know what happens to War Dogs when you get shield bashed. That's not to say that your units won't do well against them. It's just that I want to wait for a better opportunity. Possibly when the swords aren't right next to that position. Because of both of them together will just cane my behinds, basically. But let's start discussing the leash mechanics. This is the biggest thing I've learned. Is that the War Dogs will attach themselves to the closest unit in their radius. And that might sound pretty obvious. But let's say you're on one end of the cliff. And there's archers on the other side. So in that radius, the archers are the closest unit. But you have to pathfind around the cliff. And there's spears in the way. They won't attack the spears, they'll go straight for the archers. At least that's what I've found. I'm not sure if that is 100% true or not. But there has been a few times where I thought my War Dogs would stop to attack a certain unit. And instead they just run past them. For example, I've had them attack Scorpions on the way. The Scorpions just ran in front of my dogs when I was attacking archers. They took a bit of damage, but then the dogs continued to chase the archers even though the Scorpions were the closest unit. And like I was saying before, another time I did release my war dogs to go around the cliff, and instead of attacking the closest unit during the pathfinding phase, they still went for the units on the other side of the cliff, and it ended up working out pretty well, but sometimes that could be horrible for your units. And at this stage, I'm just trying to surround these units because the war dog units have surprisingly good morale damage. And that's one thing you're definitely going to have to take advantage of when you do play the good old doggy dogs. You have to use that morale damage and the ability to have the enemy fighting the dogs from the front while you go around the rear. Just keep in mind the dogs by themselves do not cause morale damage, so you might want to keep one trainer unit near the front, and then the minute that your other two trainers have gotten around to the rear, then engage with that other unit. If you get what I mean, just surround the fuckers. I do have my other war dog protecting our scorpions, and the best way for me to protect them at the moment is not to run in front of their fire arc. Instead, I'm just running around the back to put some pressure on their pikes. And it works perfectly. He started coming for me. I'm not going to engage him. All I want to do is slow him down so the scorpions can get some more shots off. The minute he does start going through the stakes though, that's the perfect time for me to go in there and fuck him up. I was a bit slow this time round, and that's all I've got to say about that. I was a bit slow, so fuck yous. I do try though. At least I'm there to try. I can say I put my best foot forward, and it didn't work out this time, but next time it might. Now, this is a smart thing. I was on Discord with him, and I said, can you tie that first pike unit up? He doesn't have his pikes down anymore. And I'll tie up the other one. That way, neither unit could put their pikes down to kill me. And it worked a charm. So, you know, you turn the shit sandwich into a half decent one. You remove the shit. Still got a bit on the bread. Try to slice around it. Then put some ham in there. Basically, just throw the bread away, make a new sandwich. That was the worst analogy. My point was, turn a bad situation into a good one. Don't try to fix a shit sandwich. You pretty much fucked that sandwich up. As a side point, did you guys know that they are fixing the matchmaking so there will only be a 1 tier difference? I think it's the best thing they could do for the game. That, along with the tier cap for the commanders, just makes this game so much more balanced. And I just can't believe, I thought they were going to be, I'm just going to be honest, I thought they might be a bit money hungry and go for that pay to progress model. But it looks like they're trying to actually balance the game. And with the Carthage infantry getting buffed soon, it looks like they might be getting overbuffed. But with that happening, it does look, most of the units are balanced in this. And now that there's only going to be a 1 tier difference, and the fact that your commanders are capped to the tier of your units, it definitely is turning into a more balanced experience, and I think people will be more willing to spend their money when they know the game is not just trying to fucking take all their cash out of their wallets just so they can progress. And they are also starting ranked at tier 5, so anyone can just jump in there really. Of course, there still is the option to pay to progress, but it won't be something you have to do. It's just that if you want to do it super quickly, especially with the experience changes, it does not take that long to level something. Basically, it just lets you have more tier 5 units. You only really need 1 to do ranked. Doesn't take that long to get 1 unit up there. And in general, if you just focus on one faction, you'll get all that stuff in no time. But after you've done with that faction, you might want to continue to grind on it. And that's when you can just buy a bit of gold, support Creative Assembly since they aren't being a total bunch of cunts. And that's the most backhanded comment, but I'm just saying, they're going in the right direction now. So this is probably the best time to support them. this video is sponsored by Creative Assembly. Blah, 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 blah. Nah, it's not really. I'm just saying. For once, I think they are heading in the right direction. So why not support that? And I would like to know who is behind the current changes. Was it from Wargaming side or Creative Assembly side? But, yeah, it's, you don't have to grind so much anymore. You can, level easier. The games are getting more balanced. There's only a one-tier difference now. As well as the fact that the commanders are capped to the tier of the unit. I don't know what happened. What happened, man? All of a sudden they decide we want a competitive game, not just some farm fest. Not only that, I was in a game and there was a guy called Creative Assembly Haslam, and I asked him, well, where's the beef, bro? Where's the beef? And he goes, well, there's no beef at CA. And I thought, well, this is kind of a shit restaurant, but they're pretty good game developers. And I was surprised how well he played. I thought maybe this is a new direction they're going in, where they play the game well, and they balance the game. I don't know where it's all coming from. But let's hope it keeps heading in this direction and doesn't take a step back. I'm hoping that the Carthage Inf is actually balanced. I think, man, I was looking at Hannibal, and that might be a bit overboard, but we're going to find out. Maybe because the unit stats aren't that impressive, it does even out a bit. I mean, at this stage, he just looks like you mix Germanicus and Millie had a love child, and then they popped out Hannibal. But that's without taking into consideration the stats on the units. In fact, there's a bit of Versi chucked in there as well with the Unbreakable thing. So it might have been a three-way. All those commanders just, man, big sausage fest right in there. Just blah, 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 blah. And then they popped out a baby somehow. Oh, you know, it's that movie. It's that fucking movie. 3 men and the baby. So they all root the same chick. And then they have to take care of the baby Hannibal and raise them up. So he takes a bit of all their traits. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and thumbs up and all that shit. And I'll see you next time.